All right, well, we are live. I'm Derek's
Live.
I'm Derek's Reptiles. I got Big Bruce in the building, man. He's a reptile keeper slash trainer. He's a veteran at the Brian Barczyk Reptarium, man. How you doing today, brother?
Oh man, I am phenomenal, phenomenal. It's okay if I cuss, right?
Yeah, go ahead, man. It's you.
Okay, all right. I just I didn't even get a chance to ask any of those questions or anything. I was like, man, can I even talk about weed or nothing like that? I don't know. Like I'm a pretty obviously I've always been a pretty outward weed guy. So it's sort of an odd thing to be like, oh, you're in a professional field and then you're also this pothead. And I was just like, well, hey man, I balance it well. I balance it well.
For sure, man. So while I got you here, man, and I know some of the stuff that you do, man. Tell me, what is a day at the Reptarium like for you? Like, what's your routine?
Oh man, so a lot of it sort of kind of play as you go. Because I mean, obviously with animals, there's nothing that's truly predictable. So you know, you never know when you got to walk in one day and then somebody's just completely blown out the cage because they're just like they didn't want to shut out in one piece. They just wanted to tear it all up and shit all over the place as well. So got to start that right away because the worst thing you want to do right away because I usually especially when I'm working at the Reptarium I've always been the guy to get there about an hour before everyone else and when I did get there earlier than everyone else, that was the biggest thing. That's like, all right, well, if like oh, shit, I'm sorry.
You good, brother?
I'm sitting in the stupid wooden chair and it's just driving me nuts. But so like I said, nothing with the animals are truly like predictable. But the one thing that is always predictable is eventually Brian's going to come in and we've got to film something, and sometimes we don't even know what we're filming. He just comes in and says, "Hey, you got any good ideas?" And I'm just like, heck, man, I'm doing some feedings today. And I'm rocking out whatever training here, and we can try and juice it up a little bit, maybe add a little bit of flair to it. But that's about as boring as it gets. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a single day goes by where I'm actually truly bored. It's just constantly different all the time.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man. I'm jealous, man, because that's my dream job. But while we're speaking about Brian Barczyk, man, what's it like working with BB?
It's erratic. Man, Brian's all over the place, but he's in his mind, everything is in a very like organized fashion, but it's really hard for everyone else to get on that same page sometimes. So you always got to be ready. And that was actually, it was kind of like the nicer thing about being a vet was that I had already had to deal with that a lot already. So like you never know when Brian was just gonna walk in and be like, "Hey, like let's try this crazy ass idea," and then like, "All right, well, what if it doesn't work out?" And sometimes we'll film something and we'll spend a solid 2 to 3 hours, and then it doesn't work out. And it just really bad. Doesn't like we didn't get good footage of it. Like for instance, there's been times I brought venomous snakes in, and like especially when a cobra doesn't want a hood. Like there are ways to do it, but also I'm under the Reptarium's roof, and I also don't want to, get Brian in any trouble potentially getting bit by something that I shouldn't be getting bit by. So,
Right.
but yeah, like I don't know, Brian. I love that man to death. He's a good dude. He's just a very unpredictable guy, so you always got to stay on top of him.
Right. So working at the Reptarium, man, what's your favorite animal there that just every day before you leave, you gotta see it?
Oh man, there's not a day that goes by where I don't I at least go through every monitor cage to some level or another. But I think the number one that I'm always really happy to see is Ubusuku, the Black Nile monitor that we got there. That is man, that animal too is just too cool. Like it just shocked me. The I've never been someone that I've ever really I like if you would say I'm sorry, let me try it again. So if I was on the outside of my body and looked at me, I wouldn't say that's a patient man. But for some reason, like I could just with animals, I'm so patient. I get them. I understand them. Humans, not so much. I got very 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 short temper with people. But when it comes to animals, man, like it doesn't matter. Like, oh, he bit me or whatever. Like, I've never been bit, and I've just sat there and been like, oh, why did he do that? It's always been like, oh, that was my fault. Totally earned that. I earned that bite for sure. Every bite I've ever gotten, I've always earned.
Right. So tell me about your personal collection, man. What you got going on over there, man? How many?
Okay. Well, that's actually that's funny that Joe there is actually a messenger right there on top of there is one of his cages that he's built. It's his Venom Life cage. I just think that it's actually a pretty sweet little deal. He had the way he had intended that setup was more for an arboreal type, but I don't have anything on me right here that's really that big. That'd be cool in that cage. So I tilted it, put it on its side, and put my timber in it, and he loves it. I had him in this cage right here below that's just bigger, like overall, like have more floor space, and he moves around way more in that cage. He's up and down, all around, inside the hide, outside the hide, you know. And then and honestly, it's pretty nice little system. I like it. It's pretty cool.
So like how many?
So overall, as far as venomous snakes goes, I don't have an accurate count, but I think 11. Okay. At least behind me right here, there's these are two, the Western Diamondback and Timber Rattlesnake. There's a young, about almost a year old Naja spectacle cobra. There's Jasmine actually is sitting in her water down here in the middle. That's my baby. I love her to death.
Right.
She tried to kill me earlier. I had to pull her out. She took a big shit in her water, and I didn't want to sit in here. I have to smell it. So before I got in here, I was just like, pull her out, threw the water out. And now she's hanging out in it, actually.
Right. So, like, what's something that, because you got a small collection, just like me, what's your dream animal that you're working towards getting, something that you want?
So I actually already have a cage built for a. I don't have anybody that sold it to me yet, but I have a cage built for a 12-foot king cobra. I don't have one yet, and I want one, and I'll take the adult, but I'd rather raise one up. That's my personal preference. To me, it's more and about I really want to try my hand and maybe creating some content with it and creating like ball training with the king cobra and stuff like that, because that's being done even today, so it's not really like too terribly unique, but I just want to do it myself. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things where it's one of those things, like, number one, it's a pinnacle of all venomous snakes. Like, if you have the room, if you got the time, they're awesome animals. Every time I've ever interacted one, although I've never had a full 14, 15 foot king cobra, usually the biggest one I've ever seen was about an 9 foot that I've been able to handle. And then some little babies a lot. I've messed with babies way too much. I love them. They're great. They're cute.
Right. Now, with you being at that Reptarium, man, what's the worst bite you ever took?
Worst bite I ever took probably was I did get one from the croc monitor. That was right here on the. You probably can't even see it with my. This is that stupid MacBook, so it doesn't have a very good camera on it. But like he actually just only side nipped me. It wasn't even like a really major bite. Like, I mean, if you looked at Will's croc monitor bite, that's an ugly. Well, that's not a croc monitor. I think it was a croc bite, but he had an ugly bite right there on his hand. His looks way worse than mine, that's for sure. Yeah, but yeah, that was my first time ever getting bit by a croc monitor, and hopefully for a long time the last.
Okay, so we got people in the chat, brother. Like, I know your Instagram because I watch your Instagram all the time. What about your YouTube? Is that your YouTube too? Scales and Things?
So I don't have a YouTube started yet. I'm not really at that point yet. I don't know. I'm still sort of on the fence if I even really want to do like reptile content.
Right.
I think I'd be more interested in probably just doing like more like life vlog type thing if I did do it. But I had such a hard time like hearing my own voice and and editing stuff like that. So I'm still, like I said, I'm more on the fence of it. I'd like to try my hand at it. I'd like to try it. But I don't see myself getting into it like Brian is, where it's like every day and just completely dedicating every moment to it. I just don't know if I could do that.
probably kind of hard, you know, working with reptiles.
Dude, I see how much it stresses him out sometimes, and it's just like, man, like, you know, like I don't want to. I like me and Jessica. We've been talking about having kids one day, and I don't want to be sitting there stressed out and have kids at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right. Probably working with reptiles. You don't want to come home and do reptiles too. You want to do something, get your mind off the animals for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess in a way, the way I've sort of operated in life, I completely went the opposite direction with that. I mean, like I've got my venomous stuff too, but I mean, I've got an Asian water monitor. He's got a cage in the corner over here. I've got I got a tegu and a relatively small boa collection, but some of them just various ages. I've had boas since I was a young kid, so that's been my go-to. I like boas; they're easy.
Now, what you have in venomous snakes, man, are you strictly hooks, or have you ever free handle? Be honest.
I do. I free handle. Yeah. Um, but it's not really to me. It's more about like personal preference, like reading them and kind of seeing it. There are some days like even snakes that I feel comfortable with free handling. I don't always free handle because that would just their attitude. You can read it right off the bat. I mean, they're just not having it. Every time you touch them, tap them, they're already trying to whip around on you. So it's like to me, I've always been sort of like never one to I don't really like want to hate on anybody for free handling just because I might do it personally in my own time. But I don't take pictures, don't do videos. It's not a message I particularly want to spread about myself necessarily, especially with my family members and my future and stuff like that. I don't really want to do that quite yet.
Understandable. Now, this is not to brag or boast. This is inspiring me, man. So you got 11,000 Instagram subs, and right under is public figure. How does that make you feel, man? Just see that as I'm a public figure.
Huh. So I made that choice to select the public figure, but honestly, that was part of my idea to start creating more content, at least within Instagram itself. I do have a Twitch account too that's at Scales and Things, but that's like super new. I like opened it up like maybe three weeks ago. And I can't imagine too many people are going to be that entertained by the actual like video games I play. But I get stoned and drunk while I'm doing it, so I'm a goofball. So yeah.
Right, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, bro. Now, do you in your spare time do any herping? Of course, when your foot gets a little better, you know. Yeah, but before you stuff and everything, are you doing any herping?
So I actually have a little, yeah, I do some herping here, but I actually have a little buddy here that's a younger guy that I've been sort of kind of like talking to him and teaching him a lot of stuff like about like, you know, like what I do, but he's more interested in like actual like wildlife and stuff like that. So he wants to go a completely different direction than what I ever do. And like, I mean, like to me, this kid's gonna be like a doctor someday, man. He's a smart kid. But we often will go out like catching water snakes, stuff like that. Here in Michigan, there's not too much crazy stuff, but I have actually had some opportunities to catch. But I've never seen a full adult one. But I've gotten some baby Eastern Massasauga rattlesnakes. Those things are pretty cool.
Right. That's what's up, man. So I know you working at that Reptarium. To me, that would be like my dream job. I wish I could quit nursing and come apply with you. But
oh man, you got retirement potentially though with nursing, man. I'd do that. I'd be doing reptiles on the side if I was a nurse for sure.
Right. Now I'm curious. I don't know if it's your dream job or not, but I know it's my dream job. But I'm curious, if you wasn't working at the Reptarium, what would you be doing right now?
Well, I that's a good question because I actually not really 100% sure. I'd still have reptiles for sure. I don't know if I'd have at least the depth of venomous snakes that I have. I'd probably still just have like a rattlesnake or maybe a gabby, but like just whatever was easier to get, you know. But I don't really know exactly what I'd be doing. I've done so many weird, odd jobs. I mean, even when I was 16, I had worked at concert venues. So I would be like ushering people to their seats and stuff like that. And so I'd be seeing all the concerts and stuff. And I was just like, it was a seasonal job. I get a bunch of money. It was awesome.
Right
But
now,
like about
with
but I'm sorry, but I was just saying, like, I've just had so many weird ass jobs. I mean, even been a roofer, so like, who knows?
that's what's up, man. So you know what? You ain't gotta answer. You ain't gotta answer that. You work at the Reptarium, brother. That's good. That's good enough, brother. Like I'm
Oh man,
at the Reptarium with Brian Barczyk.
yeah. I appreciate all the love, man. But I tell everybody all the time though. I love all the love, but I am such a small part of this huge thing. You know, like especially now. Like I haven't been there in a couple months, so it's like there's new animals there I haven't seen yet. There's like, you know, new people there I haven't even met. They don't even know who the hell I am. I kind of feel bad for them. I don't want to be like walking in and trying to like tell them what the fuck's what. But shit, man. I mean, like it's gonna be hard to kind of like adjust to it all right off the rip. That's all.
Right now, I'm kind of curious, man. You soaking up game from Brian Barczyk, man. Have you ever thought about opening your own Reptarium?
100%, yeah. I have never actually gotten a chance to even talk to Brian about that necessarily, but I love what he does. I like this. I like the whole idea. I would to me I think just I could do differently, maybe in a different area, like potentially open one in Texas. So we could potentially have a venomous section and things like that because the laws would be a little easier to get to that point, you know. But I don't know. Like there's a lot of possibility with a potential like that, but there's also a lot of potential downfall too. Like because like you got to realize Brian's got what he's got. Also, not just because it's such a wonderful idea, but he's able to reach so many people about it. You know what I mean? Like there's. I mean, we've all probably had stories of going to that sketchy ass pet store down the road. It's got all like all the ball pythons and like, you know, in the same box together, you know, and all that stuff like that. But like you'd walk up and they'd let you like play with them, right? You know what I mean? And that was usually the thing. You didn't realize that they had mites all over them, but you'd be like, oh look, yeah, it's just dust, right? Sure.
Right now, with COVID happening, man, how has that impacted the Reptarium, man?
Man, it's actually we God love anybody that I hope anybody that's watching here doesn't feel like they take this the wrong way, but it's actually kind of positively affected the Reptarium. One of the bigger things was that the reduction of crowds has actually boosted people's happiness about the whole place. You know, the fact that pretty much all the customers that usually come in and out, especially when we first opened up, it was like free for all. You paid your ticket, you could be here all day, and you got to just be in that one, and that was just Reptarium 1.0. So it was just this one small building that was like used to be a hookah shop, you know. So like after all that, we had thought that this was going to be like, oh no, this is, you know, how is Brian going to do the 3.0 now? Because you know we thought it was going to hurt the business. But like just having people come in a sort of more controlled environment and just opening up hourly the way we had been has like, oh my God, people get to like everyone gets to see something. You know what I mean? Like every hour we're at a point now that every hour we can change stuff up to where it's like you can come back another time and then see something different. You know, it's not the same thing all the time. So it's probably it's probably one of the more lucky things that actually happened as far as this whole thing goes for us.
Right. Now, you got to answer this question right, man, because I'm gonna tag your lady if you don't, brother. You work with the Reptarian at the Reptarium with your lady, man. How's it like having your dream job and working with your lady, man? You got to answer that right, brother.
So I have a rule. I can't complain to anybody but her. So like I'll like if I have an issue or something like that, like because it's like to me it's like it's kind of like being in the military. You don't want to like shit rolls downhill. You know what I mean? And Jessica is the only one I can complain to, and you know like so she's like she's sometimes the boss lady, but also sometimes just the person I can just be like, hey, let's let's just go have a burger and chill out for a minute, kind of thing.
Right.
Which, like I said, that like it's working with animals is always going to have their stresses, especially around people, because people are always going to squeeze and grab and poke and prod and ask questions over and over and over again, even though you said it 30 times to them prior,
Now, with the working at the Reptarium for as long as you have, I'm curious, man. Have you ever had any crazy fans run up in there and be like, "I'm throwing my draws at Brian. I'm throwing my draws at Bruce."
Okay, so none specifically with me like that. I swear every person that I've met, even if they don't like me, they've been nice to me. You know what I mean? Like which has been pretty rare. I have only had maybe one or two people that kind of gave me a little lip that they didn't seem to care for me too much. But like other than that, man, I like I will tell you this though, we've had some pretty odd ones that have come to the Reptarium in the past. Probably the funniest one. Let's see. There's so many though. I gotta kind of think of one in particular. Oh yeah, so we have so I'm gonna give this young lady code names because I don't actually know her name. But there is a lady that had come in with really, really short hair, and she had a choker necklace that said pudding on it, like the Harley Quinn thing.
Uh-huh.
And she had kept coming in asking for Noah. And she was just like, like, oh, I just wanted to meet Noah. I wanted to meet Noah. And like, we were like, oh, sorry, he's not here today. Like he doesn't really work on the weekends. So I'm sorry, Um, but anyways, fast forward a little bit to our actual anniversary thing. And she had she had shown up again. And God bless her. She wanted to shoot her shot, man. And she tried. And at the time, Noah was right there with his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, but his current girlfriend at the time. He had it was just probably one of the funnier things that ever happened, just because I felt bad for her because like I said, I don't like I've been shot down before too. I mean, I know how it feels. But man, holy cow, that was probably one of the funnier ones because she had kind of this sort of like before she met him, she had this like almost like we were obligated to be nice to her and get things out that we probably shouldn't have pulled out for her. It's just I don't know, just a goofy young lady.
All right, well, I got a couple more questions. I don't want to go too long because one of my friends is getting ready to go live, and I don't want to kind of step on his toes. But I'm kind of curious, man. Are you doing any breeding right now?
So nothing right now. I had intended on just doing strictly green tree pythons this year, just because they'd be a little easier to manage. But we had paired up Pickles and my PNG and what is it, PNG and Biak hybrid. Where we paired those two together to try and see if they would do it. But I haven't got any texts for Brian saying that anything positive's happened there, so he's probably coming back home.
Okay. Now, if I'm thinking about quitting nursing, I need you to put a good word in for me. I'm coming to apply at the Reptarium. You got me, bro?
Oh, you 100%. Yeah, I got you.
Okay. That's good to know, man. Like I'm kind of curious too. Before we end this, if I was to visit the Reptarium, man, what could I expect with my visit? What's some of the stuff that I can do?
So, like, if you're coming in on a typical weekend, you're pretty much walking in the doors, and it's just go where you please. You got two bathrooms in the back. There's a gift shop over far to the right. But like as far as the 1.0 and 2.0, as far as a cohesive piece, you can literally go from any point to the other and see any animal you'd like. One of the things that people have figured out that works really better with some of the employees as well as the customers, as far as like the relationships, is that when customers come in, they'll come in, they'll get to handle that first animal and and then they'll go down the line, and all of a sudden there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. Because usually when you get an animal out, I usually try to go make sure everybody sees that one animal, and then once I'm done, the animal goes up, and I don't pull them out again. I move on. You know, if I'm pulling Ubusuku out and I'm walking around letting everybody pet her, you know, If I'm pulling Elvis out, anybody that's trying to feed him, we try to go ahead and, hey, you want to feed him right now? We can go ahead and do that, because you can potentially pay for feeding, so you're able to feed them even right there. With we don't really try to do anything based on like age. It's just as long as the parents are willing to supervise. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We got tongs that are about. I mean, you can't even put it in the frame, but tongs that are huge. So you're able to keep a pretty good distance from Elvis, so you're not like potentially getting bit or anything like that.
All right, well, I appreciate you for giving me 25 minutes of your time, man. You're a good dude. I appreciate you for coming on my podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Before I end my interviews, I always shout out, because I belong to a great group of guys, man, on YouTube. So everybody, if you watching, y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my Animal House, Iron Dog, Kurtwood, Fitz Family Constrictors, Fully Envenomated, Ball Python Love, Reese's, Desert Wolf, Venom. It's so many. Joe Chandler, we need to get him to 1K. He's a good guy. It's so many. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but they some great group of guys. OSMR, Not Lou, Reptile Feed is a great group of guys, man. So y'all go check them out. Big Bruce, man, you doing your thing, brother. You doing your thing, man.
Hey, man, I really, really appreciate it, dude. Like, hopefully there's going to be much, much bigger things to come.
I'm jealous, man. You got my dream job, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Come on down. Come on.
I'm planning on coming to visit. Again, man, I appreciate you for coming on. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hopefully, y'all tune in Thursday morning, like Thursday afternoon, actually, about 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm bringing on my dog, Brian Cusco. It's going to be a great interview.
Cusco!
Yeah, I'm bringing Big Cusco to the live stream on Thursday, man. We didn't know confirmed it. So make sure y'all check that out, man. Bruce, don't leave, man. I'm getting ready to end this, man. Y'all,
I got you.
Check out my Animal House, man. Go. He's live right now. Everybody, go to my Animal House. What do you say? Tell him it's a Derek raid. Tell him it's a Derek Reptiles raid. All right, peace, y'all. I'm out.